They just won't quit. This St. Louis Cardinals team gonna go out in 2025 in a blaze of glory, riding a 6-run comeback in a 9-8 win over the San Francisco Giants here late on Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. This is STL Sports Central, Cards Central Postgame. I'm Luke Slabaugh. That's Ethan Hannaford. Ethan, what a game. What was your takeaway from tonight?
Boy, I think as I'm sitting here watching this happen, it's funny. I texted you late in the game. It was the eighth or ninth inning, and I was like, "Boy, I'm I'm feeling it. I'm tired. It's it's the morning now. Technically, I'm like, I want to go to bed." And yes, they had gotten it back to a 1-run game at that point, but you're just not feeling. And then all of a sudden, 2 hits changes everything. Victor Scott, nice piece, takes an outside off speed pitch and just slaps it the other way, and then Brendan freaking Donovan, his 4th double of the night, hardest hit ball of his major league career, 109.6 off the bat, and only Victor Scott scores on that, and maybe what 5? Maybe you might be able to count them on one hand. 5 guys score on that hard of a hit ball in that ballpark in that situation in Major League Baseball. And you're tied up. Simple baseball from Herrera moves Fermin over, and Alec Burleson does what Alec Burleson has done all year: puts the ball in play and finds a way to get on base, and you complete an epic comeback. And yeah, this was a fun ball game. But the end product. There were definitely moments that were bumpy. I got some serious concerns about where Andre Palante is right now. I think a lot of you do out there, understandably. But yeah, this team shows no quit. You said it. And there is something to say about that. I cannot think of a single time this year where the St. Louis Cardinals have quit, have stopped playing in 2025. Regardless of the lack of talent, regardless of the shape of the roster, regardless of how far back or how far behind they are, what the status of a game is looking like, they don't quit. They always fight. And that comes from culture. That comes from an attitude that's been developed inside of the clubhouse. That comes from coaching. That comes from management. So kudos to the Cardinals for staying in the fight tonight, but also kudos to that coaching staff. Kudos to that management that has been preaching the same message all year, because they're the ones that have these guys playing the way that they do as far as the effort constantly being there. Yes, there's been stupid mistakes. There have been low IQ plays throughout the season, evidence of a young team, but they've also been coachable. Games like this tonight, are the Cardinals going to make the playoffs? Probably not. Is it fun to stay in the mix at least one more night? Hell yeah, it is. But it's nights like this that encourage you about the future, because you know that they're working towards something. You know that something is being built. And that excites me, even if it's a couple years away still. It's nights like this that remind you of what Cardinals baseball used to be like. So, fun one tonight. Enjoyed it. And yeah, that is my initial thoughts and recap.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And you talked about nights like this. Insane. Love it. Love the energy. Love the enthusiasm. Love the fight. And you can count on that type of reliability also from the sponsor of this postgame show, and that's Home Bank. They're our business banking partners. From business lending to everyday banking, Home Bank has been with us since day numero uno. They're a trusted partner. Business is not about numbers. Well, it is, but it's not just that. It's also about relationships. And with Home Bank, those relationships make all the difference. Home Bank is the team behind our team at STL Sports Central. Visit myhomebank.bank or call 855-577-2001. 855-577-2001. Home Bank, member FDIC. More than a bank, they're your business partner. And our money moment of the game will be coming up post haste, although I believe Ethan Hannaford tipped us off. First, let's talk about the makeup of these two teams. Cardinals and the Giants come into this game with identical records. Mediocre comes in different flavors, Ethan Hannaford. For the Cardinals, they have used 7 starting pitchers all year long. Health has not been an issue. On the position player side, yes, some bumps and bruises along the way. Brendan Donovan pulled in the 9th inning tonight for a pinch runner and Jose Fermin. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just damage control and trying to get him out of this season healthy. Negative run differential for the Cardinals heading into this game, which means that they have been coached well and managed well, bullpen managed well for the most part by manager Ali Marmol to get them to the win total that they have right now. There are no big boppers in this lineup. 20 home run threats in Wilson Contreras, Alec Burleson at all. Ivan Herrera in just 103 games hitting 18 home runs, 19 home runs. San Francisco, on the other hand, underperforming. A positive run differential heading into tonight, now plus 12. Buster Posey is 38 years old, former All-Star, the equivalent to John Mozeliak in the Bay Area. He went out and got the best slugger on the market and Rafael Devers. They got a decent crop of talent, and some pitching injuries have held them back this year. So these teams are on different tracks, but in the same location. For Andre Palante, that is where this comment section will likely go. What happened? Because, Ethan, the first 6 batters, he's untouchable. He gets Devers to look silly at the knuckle curve a couple of times. And he gets Matt Chapman chasing on the slider. And Eldridge striking out through a fastball at 95. He loses his command, and then there's a mess on our hands. What was your perspective on what happened there?
You know, honestly, it's a pretty similar product to what you've seen from Andre Palante in large part of the second half, is that things can be rolling smoothly, and just like that, with the snap of fingers, things can turn in the wrong direction. And that's the con, right, of being a pitch to contact pitcher, right? Is that to a certain extent you are relying on batted ball luck. And, say what you want, but, things turned in that third inning immediately. Patrick Bailey's base hit was 103 miles per hour. He walks Christian Koss on 6 pitches, I believe. Now, Drew Gilbert, this is where the batted ball luck comes in. Drew Gilbert had a soft little single up the middle that was barely over 80 miles per hour on the exit velo. All of a sudden, the bases are loaded and no one is out. You finally get your ground ball, and Nolan Arenado plunks it into the back of Patrick Bailey, allowing for 2 runs to score. Not Andre's fault. He got his ground ball. He had also walked a guy and let up 2 singles that inning. But like I just said, two of those 4 guys to reach base, you could have argued it's like, well, it's not like he didn't execute entirely. Just that's the con of being a pitch to contact hitter. Or pitcher, excuse me. And unfortunately, like I said, that's been the case for Andre Palante far too often this year. The second half has been abysmal. If the Cardinals would have lost tonight, he would have now in the second half of the year, not post All-Star break, the second half would have been 1-11 record-wise, which I know, in certain scenarios doesn't tell you everything. 1-11 tells a story. That tells a story. You would have to have some insanely horrific luck to be 1-11 and not have it correlate with how you have performed as a starting pitcher. So I don't know what the fix is right now. I don't know, because we know what Andre Palante looks like when he's at his best. We have seen him be able to be a solid, contributable starting pitcher in a half decent rotation. So I'm not really sure what the answer is right now, besides the fact that they're going to have some stuff to figure out with him in the offseason, and they're going to have to work on some stuff in order to send him into spring training when pitchers and catchers report in February, and feel a little bit better about the product that you have than what you have right now. Because here's the reality. You can't. I'm all for, the pitchers next year continuing to get that leash. That's going to be probably part of it. You got a lot of young pitching in the system. I can't imagine they're going to go out and spend a bunch of money. You cannot every fifth day send out 6.5 ERA Andre Palante to start off the year and that be the result for the large portion of 2026. It just can't happen. It can't. And I don't think it will, but it can't. So put a bow on it. I don't know what the issue is. We've seen him when it's looked good, but it's been an extended period of time now, Luke, where it has not looked good.
6-15, the record for Andre Palante in 2025, and the ghost of Kip Wells said, "You up?" I'll pay attention to this comment by Leo. Andre needed the season to be over 2 months ago. He needs a legit break to get his mentals back. We know Andre Palante to be a hard worker, a student of the game, a guy who, when he came up, was a great piece out of the bullpen. You know what this is looking like to me, Ethan? On a competitive, serious team, one that has not just wild card aspirations, but yearly contention divisional title aspirations. You go back to 2022, he throws 108 innings, ERA of 3.17. Andre Palante, in a good role, is like a sixth, seventh inning guy. Can give you some length. Fastball plays up a little bit there. Pair it with the knuckle curve. I know that he would say anything to help the team. I know that he is being asked to do a lot more than any young big leaguer should. But youth isn't an excuse anymore. It's just this is the hand he was dealt. He's thrown the most innings in a season for his career. It's just the tank's empty, and it'll be okay after that. And yeah, that's all I got to say. That Arenado almost decapitating Patrick Bailey was going to be the money moment had this game gone wrong. However, we will go back to Donnie Doubles, Brendan Donovan. 4 of the 6 Cardinal doubles off of his bat. That ties the club record, first set by Joe Medwick in 1937, and it is the major league record. No batter has ever hit 5 doubles in a game. So Brendan Donovan making a little bit of history. 8 extra base hits for the Cardinals out of their 15, and they go 5 of 13 with runners in scoring position. They deserved to win this game, and Brendan Donovan, first pitch on a two-seamer into the right field corner, tying the game at 8-8. They deserved to win this game. Ethan Hannaford, offensively, what else? What else am I missing about this money moment?
About that one specifically, well, my apologies for jumping into such great detail at the beginning. Had I been a better communicator, I could have asked what in your mind was the money moment. Not like I needed to ask; it was clearly going to be this. But yeah, I think the last thing, and I'll repeat it once again. Hey, listen, kudos, Pop Warner. You got stones, man. Like, I don't like Victor Scott II is one of very few players in Major League Baseball that scores on that. And he was fired up when he dove into home plate and was ruled safe. I mean, he was fired up, and you could hear him on the broadcast because it was so quiet in Oracle Park. And I love that for Victor. It's been a tough go in the latter half of the season for him at the plate. For him to come through late, these guys are ball players. They know that it's a long season. They know that it's 162. But I have to imagine that moments like this at the end of the season, where you're going into a long off season, right, where you're gonna be trying to get right, I have to imagine moments like that later in the season probably mean a little bit more, especially for a young guy like him, to be finding moments to hang your hat high on. Not that you want to forget about the issues, right? Because you want to work on those things. But I have to imagine for a young guy like him, that's a moment he's going to be able to go take into the offseason and say, like, yes, like, I want more of that. Like, let's build off of those kinds of moments. Hopefully he can have a couple of more of those in the final few days. That would be exciting. But a good moment, just as good a moment for Victor Scott, in my opinion, as it was for Brendan Donovan.
It was a great moment on both sides. And again, that was our money moment of the game, brought to you by our friends at Home Bank. What about Home Bank? They're the team behind our team at STL Sports Central. Visit myhomebank.bank or call 855-577-2001. That's myhomebank.bank or call 855-577-2001. Uno mas for you guys. Missouri, I need you guys to get ready. Get ready. The wait's almost over. DraftKings Sportsbook, it's America's top-rated sportsbook app. It's coming soon to the Show Me State. You can sign up today. New Missouri customers can get $300 in bonus bets when we launch on December 1. Download now and place a $5 bet when DK Sportsbook goes live. It brings everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from the telly, from that little phone you got. And when we officially go live in Missouri, you'll be betting with the Sportsbook app, trusted by millions. Ethan Hannaford's laughing at me off camera. Safe, secure, and with fast money withdrawals. He is having the time of his life thinking about DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now. Use the code STL Sports to grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st. That's code STL SPORTS in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. It is after midnight Central Time. It is 12:17. I am full of dyslexia and punching the wrong buttons. It is a peak performance on STL Sports Central Cardinals postgame. I want to pay another attention. Leo is on point tonight. On point. And I have to go through some more comments. But he said, and I quote, it was about the runners in scoring position hitting was huge today. Reminds me of how they were grinding down pitchers in May. And that is true. And in addition to that, I would say jumping out early against right-hander Logan Webb was crucial and kind of unexpected. Webb is so pesky. He looks like Jesse Plemons, the guy who played Todd in Breaking Bad. He devours innings like none other. He leads the National League in innings since 2023. He's an all-star. He leads the league in strikeouts. He was the Cy Young runner-up a couple of years ago. And he's just kind of an under-the-radar star type of player. He's not a household name at all. And he comes out with the two-seamer really flat. So Donovan leads off with the double. Herrera singles. Burley goes up the middle on a changeup. And then Newt ripping a double in a 2-0 game. And Sajasi, probably the best swing of the day on a pitch in on the hands, saws off the handle of the bat. He gets an RBI single to left field to make it 3-0. At that point, the Cardinals have a 76% chance to win the game. They would go through trials and tribulations in the 8 innings after that. However, I think it was super crucial that they got off to a good start against one of the premier starters in the National League. What was your reaction there, the first inning, or what you saw specifically there, Ethan?
Yeah, I mean, you summed it up pretty well. I mean, in games like this, I mean, when you're able to jump on a guy at the caliber of Logan Webb, it's going to help you. It's going to aid, right? Especially when you have a guy like Andre Palante out there that needs all of the run assistance that he can get. The Cardinals were able to jump on him early, and you look at the top of this lineup, and there are pieces that you do like up there. I mean, there's contact pieces that you feel good. Especially against a guy like Logan Webb, who is a little bit more on the pitch to contact side as well. Brendan Donovan, Ivan Herrera, Alec Burleson, all guys that put the ball in play a lot. Nolan Arenado as well. I know it was a double play that he grounded into, but still put the ball in play, allowed a run to score. Thomas Sajasi. These are guys that, Lars Newpart, these are guys that don't strike out a lot. And then I feel like that played well tonight into what's the word that I want to use here? I guess probably the game plan, I guess, in which Logan Webb tends to attack. I feel like the Cardinals are a team that fits that narrative when they're on pretty well because they don't strike out a lot, or at least that top half of the lineup.
Richard Fulkerson commenting from Florida, watching. He is an hour further than us into the future, 1:20. So thank you, sir. Having lived on the coast before, man, these games, brutal. Sean also commenting, saying it's been a while since he's caught a stream. Welcome back. We missed you. And this is not the end. We've got a lot of great Cardinals coverage coming for the final series, which at this point to be determined what the tone of that will be like. And Blues coming up fairly soon. Preseason about to get underway. And Billikens at some point. Mizzou has been great. And so with the Randy Carricker show now in the afternoons every day, we love Bernie Miklasz contributing. Eric Sontag with betting content. We also love that. And on stlsportscentral.com. A lot of great content from Hunter Mulholland as well and some of our writers. We have good folks. And so if you're watching for the first time, there's a few dozen of you who have never been here before. Really good people in the comment section, good hosts that are very interactive. Not us, but the other hosts on this channel. So we have a darn good time. What else, Ethan?
Here's something I want to throw in there. A couple things. First off, do you remember back it would have been when the Cardinals went on that 6-game stretch against the Cubs and the Cubs and the Dodgers when they won both of those series. Remember that?
Oh, I think that was Battlehawks playoffs. So I would have been downtown.
Okay. So when that happened, Adam Wainwright around that time put out a tweet or something that said that, all right, I'm calling it now. Cardinals Cubs final game of the series is going to have playoff implications on it. How many people 2 weeks ago would have said that the Cardinals, that this series could still have playoff implications? If the Cardinals beat the Giants tomorrow, then that will hold true. Say what you want about making the playoffs, but the fact that Wayno got that right when things have been as abysmal as they have been the last several weeks, I mean, come on. That cracked me up. The second thing I'll say, I haven't seen anything in a minute from Mr. Bad Mike, but Bad Mike being a killjoy in here, saying, it's not happening, and some people are getting excited. Richard from out in Dunedin, game of the year. Bad Mike coming back to it again. We're already knocked out. You already know that. Yes, I mean we kind of know that, but at the same time, like Leo said it. Leo right here. Leo's been pulling through all night. Lord forbid we have some fun. For the love of all things good and holy, let us hold on to something, please. So anyway, I digress. There's my rant. The Cardinals won a fun game. They are magically somehow not eliminated still. Will they be tomorrow? There's a chance. Fair one, probably. I haven't looked. I mean, you got Sonny Gray going tomorrow. He's been pretty good as of late. I don't know. What's the temperature going to be in out in the Bay tomorrow? It's been pretty chilly, I think. I've seen him wearing sweatshirts the last few nights. So, maybe we keep this going into the Cubs series.
It's a very mild temperature in Smyrna, Tennessee. Give the man some credit. Give him a break. This is the first time I've heard anyone say the word Dunedin out loud. I've had it wrong in my head this entire time. I know the Blue Jays have a team out there.
You know who corrected me on this was Brad Thompson, actually. So Brad Thompson, I'm sitting with him at Katie's Pizza over the off season, and I was telling him about some of the different broadcasting jobs that I'd applied for. And I told him I'd applied for Dunedin, and he just politely goes, Dunedin. Got it. Didn't end up getting that one. So, maybe if I would have known how to say their name, that would have helped.
I'm speaking out of turn here. However, my first gig out of college was in Knoxville, Tennessee. And our sports director or our main anchor got this really good job. And she now works at ESPN and SEC Network and big time role doing play-by-play. And so we were trying to replace her. And so we brought in and interviewed a bunch of people in person. And there was a gal who sat down and she was like, yeah, Tennessee, I don't know if you guys do Preds. I really like hockey, but I'm a big fan of the Vols. And I'm like, either she's really into Redwall or she don't know what she's talking about. And get this, she got the job.
No!
So
it's late night STL Sports Central.
There's going to be an internet detective who gets me in trouble for saying that, but I was there and you weren't. Yeah, a right-hander Sonny Gray takes the mound, 14-8 with a 4.33 ERA. He's 6 strikeouts away from 200 on the season.
Heyo.
Potentially last start as a Cardinal.
Yeah. It totally could be the case. I mean, everything that we are seeing is that the Cardinals are going to break it down to a certain extent this offseason. That doesn't mean they're going to, sell the team or anything. And, that doesn't mean that we're going to have 6 new guys in the starting lineup next year. But I think it does mean that they're going to do everything that they can to clear out some of those larger contracts. And that would include Nolan Arenado, Sonny Gray, and as sad as I am to say it, Wilson Contreras. I think there's a chance that he's also gone, even though, up to this point, he's been pretty public about wanting to stay here. I think they're going to do everything they can probably to move on from all 3 of those contracts.
The last time you and I did a post game here, Ethan, I remember eulogizing Nolan Arenado because I just thought it was the last time you and I were going to be on a stream together. It doesn't seem to be the case. So he hits a home run tonight, his first one since June against the Reds. And so that was very important for him to get on board. And just kind of roped it inside the left field foul pole there. Go out in a blaze of glory, man. I just, the effort has never been in question. These guys, it's, what else can you say except Arenado gave his all?
That's at the end of the day, that's what you can say. Say what you want about the final product. Both sides were probably flawed in it, in the sense that Arenado thought that he was going to have a much better product these final 3 years here in St. Louis than the Cardinals provided him. But also, he didn't play his part in large part either. He wasn't the MVP caliber third baseman that the Cardinals expected to have for longer than 2 years in St. Louis. So that part's on him. But like you said, what you can never discount is that he was every single day the hardest working player in that clubhouse. Ollie Marmol talked about it today on the Gas House Gang, about what kind of example he set and how, to a certain extent, for some of the guys, it intimidated them because it was them actively witnessing what it takes to be great. And I think some guys just aren't there yet mentally. So Nolan Arenado did a lot for this team. And I loved hearing the other day on Sunday in the clubhouse that he has zero regrets about coming here, about staying here, about opting in 2023. That makes me feel good. It makes me feel better, because the last thing you would want is for someone that probably has as much pull around Major League Baseball, will go down as one of the greatest third basemen of all time, will be a Hall of Famer. The last thing you want is for him to be talking poorly about the organization, about the franchise. That's not going to be the case with Nolan Arenado. A lot of respect and appreciation, I think, for the organization. Whether you agree or you can argue he doesn't necessarily agree with how things were ran the last few years. There's a lot of us that don't agree with that. I'd say most. But the love he has for this fan base and why he came here, that hasn't changed and it won't change.
It will not change. He was classy. He was a student of the game. He was kind of nerded out about baseball, but very passionate and hell of a worker, hell of a Cardinal. The Cardinals do not control their own fate. It looks bleak in terms of postseason probabilities, not impossible. However, we celebrate tonight. The Cardinals take the series from the Giants. They win 9-8. They score 6 unanswered runs after allowing 8 unanswered runs. It was a wild ride. It was a roller coaster of emotions, and I'm glad that you all were here to witness it with us here on STL Sports Central Cardinals postgame. Final thoughts, Ethan Hannaford, as we put a bow on this one, a 9-8 win over the San Francisco Giants.
Shock the nation, baby. Win out. See what happens. That's all I got. That's all I got.
And we will see you tomorrow night. I'm hosting, I believe, Schaefer is with me, good old Schaefer Dog. He's got his daily YouTube show, or semi-daily. I no idea, but he's great. So we've got that going
whenever he's not on here. I think that's what it is. Whenever it's not on here, then it's usually there.
Hmm. I don't know. That sounds kind of janky to me. He's Ethan Hannaford. I'm Luke Slabaugh. Final score tonight: the St. Louis Cardinals 9 and the San Francisco Giants 8. Good night. Stay safe. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. This was STL Central, brought to you by DraftKings. Ethan, what is the slogan?
The crown is yours.
That's my boy.